Hello everybody and welcome back 9 for the Belgium. As you can see, interesting, dry or slick tyres at the beginning of the session, was with the first ones to get their lap in. So you've got Toxic, I think that's the order. We've got 12 minutes and we're going to have nothing to do really. Well, change of weather. If Ibo's providing us entertainment, if he wants to stay out on track, it should be Toxic on pole by a full second, Carmento second, Bullet by third. Yeah, there wasn't a stream last week. That's purely because I wasn't there for many reasons. But anyway, actually, I'll fill you in. Hungaroring. Don't have a clue what happened myself, but the gap at the top got closed by one single point. So, B Morgan now leads the championship by 53 points with 4 rounds to go. There's still like 900 190 something points around there. I don't know the exact number, but that's a pretty commanding lead, which he's had for a lot of the season. Feature race, won from pole by Dylan, who lines up 4th today. He's actually won the last 2 feature races from pole though. He hasn't got pole in this one as Ibo is gonna on track, so we'll go on board with Bullet Boy. There is some lag on my end. There's definitely on my end, and I don't know why, because I have switched everything off. But yeah, so Dylan won from pole. Dan finished second with V5 in third. Then Carmentalist 4th, Toxic 5th, B Morgan 6th with the fastest lap. Racing at home 7th. Yeah. Ibo 8th. Ryan in 9th, and Bullet Boy on debut finishing 10th. And then in the sprint race, B Morgan won with the fastest lap. Second place was Toxic. When was it Toxic? Yep, Toxic. And third place was Racing at Home. 4th, Dan. 5th, V5. 6th was Dylan. 7th was Carmentalist. Yep. And 8th was Ibo. Oh yes, and two retirements from the feature race, which was James in the Arden and Big W, who actually started his first race since the first round of the season. He actually did both races last week. Didn't finish either of them, but it's good to see him back anyway. Not here today, but yeah, I don't know. As Bullet Boy giving some great entertainment in that rushing time. He has 1 point, which is more than 2 people. But oh well, he's starting 3rd today for the feature race, and round Spa could be a fun one. I don't actually know how many laps it is. If anyone knows, that would be fun. Well, good to tell me. So, just having a look at chat. We have a grand total of 8.5 minutes, unless Bullet Boy and Ibo retire. If these two carry on, we've got gameplay, but if they don't, yeah, alright, we could get them to retire. Bullet Boy has retired, so I'd suggest Ibo probably... Well, Ibo will probably retire now anyway. I can't read the chat, by the way. I want to read the chat, but I don't want my my game to get like my lag all the time. Now, if Ibo retires, is Ibo going to be a lad and smash into the wall? Let's have a look. Does Ibo break? Oh. Broke. Come in, Ibo. Oh, Rob Air has joined. Okay. That's interesting. Because, he didn't turn up for ages, so I kind of freed up his seat. Okay. I'm gonna put him down as a reserve anyway. Yeah, he hasn't raced since, I think Monaco. No? Hasn't raced since the 4th round of the season. So yeah. But, quickly before I do anything, Dakar, if you're watching, I'm finning in the standings. Just because I think I'm a bit quicker. Like, I'm literally gonna do it just straight away, so I think it's just easier for everyone. So, Toxic on pole. Toxic on pole, Ibo, do us a favour. There we go. Well, we got to watch Ibo drive round for a couple of laps. While no one else is doing it. There you have it. Toxic on pole, Car Mentalist second, Bullet Boy third. The front three separated by nearly 3 seconds. That's how like the difference between conditions. Obviously, Bullet Boy was on mediums because he thought he might be able to get a second run in. Unfortunately, not. Dylan in 4th, taking the last 2 pole positions. Not this week though. Dan in 5th, V5 in 6th. B Morgan got caught out. He's down in 7th. And Ibo is 8th because he didn't actually set a time at the beginning of the session. It's a completely dry feature race. Okay. Dry feature race. Let's have a look at the chat. Hello. Good luck, lads. Nice to have you back, RJ. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. Please, everyone, retire. Should we just retire? Ibo for pole. Well, that prediction was terrible because it was made after the session had finished, pretty much. Ibo said in the chat, I was going to set my fast lap. His fastest lap. My lap was in damp conditions as well. It was a good timing for yeah, to be fair. A lot of people got the time, like, a few people got the timing completely wrong. A few people got it, like, okay, enough. And some people got it spot on. So I think Toxic got it spot on to get that lap. But we just wait for Ibo. V5 should have formation lap. And then we're good to go. Apparently, this game is Forza Motorsport 6. Apparently, is what like I just went down on the stream, looked down, game, Forza Motorsport 6. I don't think it is Forza Motorsport 6. Dan got the timing right, but invalidated his lap. Oh, I didn't actually look what his lap time was. Because that could have been... Oh, that's a lucky. Because in the wet conditions... Well, in those conditions, it's so easy to do that. So easy to mess up, invalidate. But, you have it. Toxic's going for it on in the formation lap. Is that a front three we've had before? No, but obviously Bullet Boy's not been up there before. But I don't feel like we've had Toxic and Well, has Toxic taken a pole before? Let's just have a look. No, this is Toxic's first pole position. I want to say this car meant this first front row as well. Bullet Boy, I don't know where he qualified in Hungary. I don't have the qualifying. All I know is that Dylan got pole and Dylan won the feature race. But yeah. We are still running the 2018 spec cars. Obviously, the 2019 cars are actually the same. But liveries wise, I'm gonna have a word. I'm gonna see if it's all right. Basically, if you didn't know, I left the league for about a week and a half because circumstances, including I can't drive anymore. I left, rejoined. Need to see if I can get back in on the admin side of things for the F2, because it's just a bit easier. Big W has joined. Unfortunately, it's late for the feature. We'll see if... let me just message Big W. There we go. But yeah, if we... wow, 12 people. Wow. It's a lot of people. Yeah, if I can get back in, we'll see. Hopefully we can sort some things out for next season. I did have a few ideas, and I can try and get them across. We'll see though. One of them will be, hopefully, if they can sort out qualifying, then we might be able to. But yeah, Robert is here. He's in the ART. He will not start in. Well, his points will not count to a team. I've got him as a reserve now. Actually, I'll count him as Campos. Actually, here we go. 5 lights in Spa for the feature race, and away we go. Toxic got a very good start. Bit slow from Carmentis. Bullet Boy's gonna. No, Bullet Boy's being swarmed. Dan's got a pretty decent start. He's held it though. Dylan looking around the outside. He's got Dan on his inside. Toxic's being able to hold on to P1. Bullet Boy has got into side by side with Carmentalist. I think Carmentalist might have to back out of that one, and he does. But Toxic's got a very nice lead as we head up over Ocean Radion for the first time. No crashes there, I see. Dan still holding on to 5th. B Morgan still in 7th. And yeah, those three all staying in the same position. V5 trying to close up onto the back of Dan. Can he make a move down the inside? He can't. Dan nearly hit the back of the... Oh, that's a move by Dylan in the Carlin. If he can hold that, that's a fantastic move. He spun. Oh, he made side pod contact with Bullet Boy. And that's a racing incident if I've seen one before. Dylan will be able to get going, but is there a substantial part of that front wing happening? I don't know. I do not know. I think the front wing might be intact, but unfortunately for him, he's dropped down from 4th, going for 3rd. I don't know where he got the traction from, but Bullet Boy's now dropping down the order. Bullet Boy's off the track. Bullet Boy has stopped. He's letting Dylan back through. So Bullet Boy clearly either got an illegal overtake, which he either got an illegal overtake, but that's a very long time to give it back, or he felt slightly guilty. I don't know, for my POV, it looked like a racing incident, but obviously my POV isn't always the most trusted, as we see many times on these streams. But that was Dan going deep. But Dan, actually, from all of this, these two, Bullet Boy and Dylan going towards the back of the field, Dan's up to 3rd, B Morgan in 5th, V5 4th. These three look to be the main three at the start, well, towards the beginning of the season. At Baku, these three were thought were going to go the way. V5 unfortunately missed a few races. Went to Singapore though, so I don't think he cares. B Morgan's been a bit consistent. Dan has only really picked up form actually from about Monaco. Before that he was alright, but just wasn't getting the look. Now he's starting to pick up form and he's actually gaining back on. We did have a title fight actually between B Morgan and Daka. Daka dropped out because of educational needs, which is always a smart decision. Although I wouldn't say that normally. But there's a big lockup from V5. B Morgan not exactly keeping up with these guys. He's on the medium. Wait, is he on the? No, he's on the hard compound tyres. On the hards. Dylan actually only 3 seconds off the back of the pack now. So, as you know, it is on the medium, sorry. He's on the mediums. So, B Morgan and Rob Air decided to go medium. The front two are mediums as well. Dan and V5 on the soft compounder tyres. And V5 is literally pushing Dan through the middle sector here. 13 laps. I'm thinking around a lap at 8 or 9 pit stop for the for the medium compound tyres. Around a lap 8, or you want to be about lap 8 to get the most out of them, but lap 9 feasibly. If you're on the softs, you're looking at about lap 5 or lap 4 just to try and get an undercut. Can I invite? No, I can't. Just anyone out there, don't do it while you're racing. Don't Ibo. Don't invite him while you're racing, but at the end of the race, Big W will need an invite. As Bullet Boy, well, Dylan has got past Ibo, up into 7th. On the recovery drive, Ibo's gone very deep into turn 1. And there is Bullet Boy right on the back of him. No real... V5's fairly close to Dan, but I don't think he's going to be able to get a move. The slipstream effect isn't as powerful in these cars. The DRS isn't as powerful either. But you can follow a lot closer, so normally when you're slipstreaming, you're a lot closer to the car in front anyway, normally. But here comes Bullet Boy up the inside at Lacombe on the brakes. Ibo's gone very late on the brakes, and he's actually not. Oh, he just about made the corner, but lost a lot of time doing so, and he drops to 9th. So V5 trying to stay with Dan. It's not really working for him. B Morgan still in there, and this race will come to him. He's just got to drive consistent laps, keep these tyres alive, so that he can push just before he comes into the pits, and then he has enough in his soft tyres. Dan's starting to reel back in. Car Mentalist in 2nd place. He is on the medium compound tyres. He won't care too much if these guys catch him. His battle isn't with them unless, well, it depends on how powerful the undercut is, because these guys will get fresh mediums, these soft runners will get fresh mediums, when the medium runners from the start carry on. And it's how much they can close the gap to those medium runners before they put on the softs that will determine who will win this race. It's not a problem of overtaking at this race, it's just how big of a gap can you get before you pit. That is the only problem. You need to have a pretty big gap to a tyre on a car on a fast compound of tyre. Just hope they don't catch you in time that you run out of rubber. Toxic going away with this race, 2.9 seconds in the lead from Car Mentalist. Dan in the DRS of Car Mentalist. We'll go on board with the ART up the Kemmel Straight. Number 8 ART, driven in real life by B Morgan actually driving the car of the guy that came the guy that came 3rd, only just 3rd by the way, very close to 2nd in Alex Albon, and the number 8 car driven by George Russell. Actually Dan went pretty deep into the corner. I can never remember what it's called. Yeah, that corner, the loopy one. Yeah, my English is failing me. Oh well. Ibo is now 10.8 seconds behind. I didn't see yellow flags. If the yellow flags did come out, I'm sorry, I didn't see them. Robert picks up the first penalty of the race, and Big W does rejoin. So he will race starting from 10th as long as everyone stays in the session. Robert in 6th right now. He's a bit of a way back from B Morgan, but he is also on the medium compound tyres. So realistically, he's just trying to stay ahead of the people behind him who are trying to close him back up. This is the 4th lap of the race, so we could be seeing pit stops on this lap, or will they go one further? I don't know. But we're looking at Dan, who is the first of the soft compound runners. And Dan comes into the pits. So we have pit stops on lap 4. Dan in a championship battle. We're trying to close that gap. He's into the pits first. He's going for that undercut and just going to try and keep those tyres alive. B Morgan stays out, as does V5. So V5 going for a lap overcut on Dan. Let's see what he can do. Robert will get ahead. Will Dylan? Dylan pits. Bullet Boy pits. Ibo too far behind. Bullet Boy picked up a penalty in the pit lane, and now here comes Dan into his pit box. Will he be able to get it out ahead of... Yes, he will. So, not held in the pits is Dan. Ibo stays out. Is that going to hamper Dan, though? Dan's at the end of the pit lane. Ibo's right there. And Ibo is a bit too far behind. And Dan will have fresh air now to push for however many laps he needs to stay ahead of V5. And then he's got he's got 19 seconds in front. He's got so much clear air. He just needs to push lap time, lap time, lap time. Keep these tyres alive though. But if he can get far enough ahead before B Morgan pits, this could be race over. We're going to look at the top two. He's got to try and he's got to try and undercut the top two as well if he wants to get maximum points from this race. But Toxic especially looked like he was on a mission in this race, just pulling away. He was rapid at the start of the race. 2.7 seconds of the gap. It's actually stabilised now, but Toxic still in there. B Morgan not exactly. He's actually falling further back from V5, so V5 clearly keeping his tyres in a good shape. If that gap starts closing, that's when V5 needs to think about pitting, and actually it is closing right now. The gap from Dan to Robert is 18.1, which is about 26 seconds to V5. Yellow flags in sector 2. That is Dylan at P1. He has lost front wing. The race has got from bad to worse, and V5 pits. V5 into the pits. B Morgan now released with slightly cleaner air. Where is Dan when V5 comes? Well, V5 into the pits, obviously. Dan needs to stay ahead of V5 if he wants to gain some serious ground on B Morgan. Obviously, B Morgan still leading the championship. V5 has come out of his pit box. Dan's coming down the pit. He's coming down the pit straight, and this is going to be a close one. V5 at pit exit. Dan comes through the first corner, and he's only... No, they're side by side. V5's done a fantastic in-lap, and Dan's only just stayed ahead of V5. This is going to be close down the Kemmel Straight. Who will lead by the time we get to Les Combes chicane? I think V5 could have this. He's got the DRS. He will have the slipstream from Dan. Dan goes to the inside. V5 round the outside. Who's going to be able to brake later? Robert has left the session. V5's going round the outside. Can he hold that? No, he's going to get squeezed by Dan, and Dan holds on to provisional P3. Very good defending from Dan. And, that was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. It makes it seem like the cold tyres on the first lap do not work, and that might have been why V5 locked up, potentially. If V5 can stick with Dan on his out lap, he might have a chance again, but see how difficult it is for V5 to warm up his tyres. He doesn't look like he's having any problems. He's still on the back of Dan as we come into Lafanya chicane. Dan's going to cover that off, but V5 all over him. Dan goes defensive into Stavilo. And I can't remember what this one's called now. It's something to do with a granny's cottage. That is a granny's cottage. V5 has the slipstream down towards Blanchimont in the final chicane. The bus stop. It's not much of a bus stop, let's be honest. Not anymore. But still cool. That V5 has the slipstream. He's going to hold back. He's going to get DRS on the next lap anyway. Dan goes deep. V5's trying to switch back. He's going to get the exit out of turn 1 to try and drive towards turn 1. And he's going to get the exit out of the final corner, sorry. Dan will, I think, back off, give him the position. Cerebo picks up a 10-second time penalty. I don't know what that's for. V5 ahead of Dan. This is all great news for B Morgan. These two battling is great news for B Morgan. But Dan still on the back of V5. Has he got the straight line speed to get back ahead of the Russian time? I think he has. He's good. Oh, his straight line speed is magnificent. Oh, he's so far ahead. And that is back into provisional P3. But if these guys keep battling like this, it might not be P3 for much longer, because B Morgan is kind of on a charge. There is 24 seconds between Dan and B Morgan, which will keep B Morgan keep Dan just ahead, but not by very much at all. Just those front 4 yet to pit. Ibbo in the pits right now as we speak. Again, I think. Dylan is 50 odd seconds behind Ibbo right now. He's 1.5 seconds behind the leader. Fastest laps, everyone. If I can find him. Toxic just set the fastest lap on his worn medium tyres. So this might seem like the mediums get better the longer the stint goes on. And actually, Dan is starting to pull back away from V5, it looks like. The gap being 0.5 seconds, sorry. V5's got a much better run through Stavolo corner, though. So, yeah, Robert has lost a lot of time to B Morgan on this lap. And Dan has closed up massively to Robert. So, it looks like B Morgan isn't losing any time at all, whereas everyone else is losing a lot of time on their worn mediums. None of these guys have penalties other than... Well, none of the main contenders for this race have penalties, as Dan sets the fastest lap of the race. Yellow's in Sector 2. Who is that? We think it is Ibbo at Puon, facing backwards. We'll go back to this battle with V5 all over the back of Dan. Once again, battle commences on lap 8 now. V5 gets a penalty. That is important. That is very, very important. If Dan does not have a penalty, which I don't think he does, is V5 going to try and pull to the outside again? He's going to try it late on the brakes again. Is he going to be able to hold it this time? He locks up. He's going to get the room. Dan is going to hold it, though, round the outside, and that is going to be Dan's position. Unless V5 can get a little bit of a switchback, he's going to get the better run down into the corner. I can't remember the name. It begins with an M. V5's locked up. He's gone very wide, and oh, he's still in there. He's still in there with Dan. Dan might have to back out here. He does have to back out. He's going for a switchback down into Puon. V5 gets back ahead. So, this is an intriguing battle. They just keep swapping positions. Dan off the road at Puon. That's going to lose him a bit of time on the AstroTurf. He's now half a second back. But he's still well in this fight. But he needs to stick with V5. Try and get the DRS back ahead again. But they are just... These trading positions is just giving B Morgan more of a chance to maybe come out ahead, as we have people into the pits. B Morgan is one of those people. B Morgan into the pits. I think Toxic and Car Mentalist have done enough here to stay out 1-2. It's where B Morgan comes out. If B Morgan comes out behind these two, there is big problems for B Morgan. Can he get the most out of those soft tyres to be able to overtake these guys? Because these guys are just trading positions. They're clearly quite equal in pace. Is B Morgan quick enough to trade positions with them as well? As B Morgan is serviced, he's coming out now of the pit box. I think he's too far behind. Actually, Car Mentalist has been jumped as well. He's going to be at pit lane exit, where these guys come through. It's going to be side by side between him and Dan. Dan is going to get ahead. Dan now has to watch behind him the slipstream of Car Mentalist, because V5 is well and truly gone. These guys not really trading positions anymore. Dan's going to have the DRS. He's not close enough to V5 to try anything crazy on this. V Morgan is so far behind. I thought it'd be a lot closer than that, but he's down in 5th. 4.4 seconds behind Car Mentalist. Car Mentalist all over the back of Dan. Dan all over the back of V5. These guys battle. It allows B Morgan to get back in it. V5 obviously has that penalty, so that's why I think Dan's not battling. But Car Mentalist has lost 2 positions here in the pit stops. Toxic well and truly came out in the lead. I think Car Mentalist, though, might have been held in the pits because he lost a lot of time. He lost, I think, about... I don't know how many seconds he lost exactly in the pits. Dan's got a poor run through Puon. I think he might have pushed his tyres too hard. Car Mentalist is going to try it around the outside at Fania. That's not happening any day of the week. Dan defends that very well, but this B Morgan is on. Oh, the pace from B Morgan. He's gained about a second on these guys already, and that's in what, a sector and a half. V5 gets such a good run out of the lowest speed corners. Dan is just falling backwards now. I think he did take too much out of his tyres early on in the race, and that surprises me. He took too much out of his tyres, and his pace wasn't like spectacular. He set that one fastest lap, but it was only narrowly a fastest lap. He didn't really pull away from V5 on that lap either, so the pace is surprisingly, like, I don't know where this has come from. V5 sets the fastest lap now, but we expect that to be absolutely smashed by one of the soft runners. But if Dan can stick with Car Mentalist, maybe re-overtake him, it gives him a nice buffer to B Morgan. We'll have to wait and see though, as there's yellow flags in sector 1. Who is that? That is... I don't know who that is. It might have been Ibo. I've been Ibo letting people through. Dan has decided not to go for an overtaking Car Mentalist. And now there is no one between Dan and B Morgan. This race looked so good for Dan when he pulled that undercut, and then the undercut just did not work at all. He did not find any time. He actually lost time, if anything. Let's have a look at penalties. So currently, Toxic is 1 warning from a penalty, but I think he's far enough in front. V5 has a penalty, 1 penalty. Car Mentalist, 2 warnings, 1 warning away. Dan is 2 warnings away. B Morgan is 2 warnings away. Bullet Boy has an awful lot of penalties. Robert isn't in the session. Dylan on 3 warnings, but I think one of them's for collision, so we think it's fine. And Ibo has 2 penalties on the same lap. Look at that. Dan, B Morgan, 1.3 seconds the gap to Dan. I wanted to go on Ibo then. Let me go on Ibo. Ibo just spun. He didn't let me go on. Annoyed. The gap is less, well, it's going to be less than a second by the time we exit the bus stop, I think. Can he get... Oh, Dan has got so little grip. He's off the track again at Blanchimont. I think he just manages to keep B Morgan out of DRS. He's got 3 laps now to hold B Morgan behind. He's out of DRS from Car Mentalist. Yellow flags in sector 3. I think that's Ibo again. Yeah, by the looks of things, it is Ibo. Can Dan gain enough of a slipstream to get within DRS at the detection point? I don't think he can, which means he's going to have to defend from B Morgan, who's going to come charging at him down the straight. Is he a bit too far back though? I think he is. He's got DRS open. He is gaining, but the Dams driver just a bit too far back to have a crack at Dan in this race. Actually, as it stands, Dylan, who got in so unfortunate in the early laps, will start from provisional sprint race pole as it stands. Obviously, provisional. I didn't need to say as it stands because I said provisional. And I also didn't need to say provisional because I said as it stands before. Darn. Dan, 1.2 seconds back. Now he's just... Yeah, the grip is not there for Dan. Once again, a bit wide at Pouon. I think he's getting away with that though. But here we go. B Morgan switches to the inside. Can't get a look in. Doesn't quite commit to it on the brakes. But Dan... This is where Dan's had a problem all race. Dan's had a real problem coming out of Stavalo and the next corner after, the corner that follows. He can't get the power down through this corner. He can't get the line, he can't get the power. And it means the driver behind gets pretty easy run at him down the next straight. Is B Morgan going to go for it into Blanchimont? No, he's not. He's backed out of it. B Morgan's backed out of it. He's waiting for DRS. He just wants that position. If he gets this position, he will extend his championship lead. Don't remember who had fastest lap. I think it was Toxic. B Morgan all over the back of Dan. Dan has got to do some heroics because I think no matter how low Dan's wings are, B Morgan's are a lot lower. And obviously he got caught out in qualifying. He shouldn't have been as low down as he was, starting 7th. But he now has a chance and extending his championship lead with on the penultimate lap now of this feature race for round 9. 3 rounds after this, 150 odd points to play for. Is B Morgan close enough? He's gonna go for it down at Les Combes. Dan is gonna try and keep that position. B Morgan's gonna go all the way around the outside. Dan, is he gonna go for the switchback? I think he is. No, he can't get the traction, and the B Morgan's let through easily. Dan did not put up enough of a defence. He tried it on the first part of Le Com, but then just there was no comeback at him for the rest of the following corners. B Morgan is already half a second up the road from Dan. That is how much grip he has on those tyres. Wait. Oh yeah, Dan must have qualified on the softs. That's why. Wait, no. People changed because Toxic qualified on the softs and started on mediums. Why didn't... I don't see why everyone doesn't start on the mediums, honestly. If everyone is if everyone gets to choose tyres, why wouldn't everyone not go for the slowest combine at the start? Because we see how much of an advantage he gains. See, these are some F2 life hacks right here. These are some F2 life hacks. So B Morgan now trying to close down Car Mentalist as we're on the final lap. We're gonna go on with the man who has absolutely dominated this race from start to finish. He has not been... There's been no threat of him being overtaken. I think he was a second ahead by the time we got to Le Com on the first lap. He is that far... He's nearly 9 seconds up the road from anyone else in this race. In a 13-lap race, that is pretty impressive. In the Carlin, doing a fantastic job. The Lando Norris regen. Oh God, as I call Lando Norris. That's not blasphemy. It's blasphemy if you call anyone else God. Anyway. Well, to be fair, if I say that normally, I'll get a toxic response. Way. I feel bad about myself then. Anyway, B Morgan now on the back of Car Mentalist as they drop through Puon. But Car Mentalist also on the back of V5. So if Car Mentalist stays in the slipstream of V5, I think this finishes as it... Actually, no, V5's penalty could change everything up in this race. It could promote B Morgan. I think Dan's a bit too far... Dan is a bit too far back to benefit from that penalty. So, B Morgan might get gifted another position. And Dan might lose another couple points in this... trying to claw back the championship lead. It's... 3.4 seconds. Unless V5 gets another penalty, or got one that I didn't see, I think this might give B Morgan a couple more points that he desperately needs to try and hold on. He's going to try it on Car Mentalist. Don't think Car Mentalist had a penalty. No, he does now. Oh, B Morgan's been gifted a second place, I think. I think that's second for B Morgan. It is. Car Mentalist on the final corner loses what was going to be an awesome drive from him. P2 he would have finished. He finishes P5 in the end. He loses 3 positions because of that penalty. And he must be absolutely fuming that he did that. Bullet Boy has decided to spin at the final corner. It actually promotes Dan to 4th place. But if we look at it beforehand, Dan loses 6 points. He would have lost 5. And actually, if they'd have finished where they did cross the line, he would have lost 2. So... Dan's tyres, yeah, I think they just hit a cliff, and he has lost out on some serious points there, but I don't know what happened at that final corner. Oh, that is Dylan backwards. Yes, so I actually finally figured out the tyre rule for F1. No, for F2. We haven't quite explained it to the drivers. I finally figured it out. It took me a very long time. I only figured it out because someone told but I'm just going to say it in the stream. If you use both sets of tyres in quali, you can choose from either set. If you only use one set, you have to start on the tyre you set. You lap. Like you have to start on the tyre you did in yeah. Yeah. So if you only use one set in quali, you have to use the set you used in quali. If you use both sets, you can use either set for the start of the race. So yeah. That might clear things up now. But there we have it. Toxic takes his first feature race win in this series of this category, this season. Something's a bit messed up. If the thing loads, I can have a look. Yeah, he's won before. He's won two sprint races, and his best result in a feature is a second place at Great Britain. He now has a win to his name in Belgium. Fantastic drive from him. B. Morgan finished second and extends his championship lead by another 6 points over Dan, who came home in fourth. There is rain for the second race, so this could make things interesting. Form could be completely thrown in the air by this one. Dylan finished 8th, so that's 4 points. Car Mentalist finished 5th, so that's 10. Third place was V5. That's 15. I'm pretty sure that was, yeah. 6th place was... Actually, we're going to promote... If Robert got back in? No, he didn't. So we're going to promote everyone below him up by 1. So Dylan can have 6 points because that's just fair, isn't it? So we've got 25, 18, 15, 12, 10. Who finished 6th? It was... Is Robert in? No, it was Bullet Boy. Okay, so Bullet Boy has 8 points. And then 9th and 10th was Ibo. So Ibo gets 4 points because of the promotion by 1. And Big W didn't race. Which... I don't know what I put disconnects down as before. I think I put them down as DNF, so I'll put Robert down as a DNF. Just because I think that's the way I did it before. Oh, someone's off. That is Dylan. He's gone very far off track on the formation lap. He's now going to try and retake his positions. And it's absolute chaos because obviously he went off. Bizarre. Goes so far off on the formation lap. You normally conserve. He's clearly pushing the limits. Or just not braking, because some people do that on formation laps. I mean, it is a way of getting round, I guess. Yeah, that actually jumps. Toxic is now 3rd in the championship and 101 points behind with 150 to go. He could be ruled out at Monza, but he's still technically in it, as are a lot of people actually. I think the whole... Who's on 51 points? They are definitely still... So I think the top 10 are definitely still in it, and I think everyone else behind that is out of it. So the whole top 10 are still in it. One of those drivers is retired, so actually there's only 9 people that technically still race. Who got fastest lap? That penalty was a joke. To me, I saw other people get that penalty, so I'm going to not... Well, we'll see. But I did see other people do the same thing, to be fair. Oh, actually, I've not given Toxic 2 points that he should have got. Because he got fastest lap, actually. So Toxic actually got maximum points from the first round. Well, first race of the day. As we have everyone lining up. Dylan on pole. He's been there for a couple of feature races. The last 2, actually, before we came here to Spa. But he's going to start on... He's actually got a clear front row. Other than him, this should be an easy getaway for Dylan as we go for the feature race. Bullet Boy got not a great start, actually. Dan looking at it. B Morgan's already on Dan. And Dylan already comfortably into the lead. Toxic dropping down into 6th. He's going to gain some positions. Dan down to 7th. Rob Air, obviously not in the session, dropping. But B Morgan, Dan has lost out to B Morgan already. And Toxic. Oh, there's contact between Toxic and B Morgan. It's going to... Lost Toxic some front wing. I don't know if Dan lost front wing as well, but Toxic has definitely lost front wing. Dan has not lost front wing. So Toxic loses front wing. B Morgan does not lose front wing. But he was the slow car. Toxic's taken to the runoff at the Lecom chicane. Will not get a pen. But will lose out to Big W, who has managed to get himself up to 6th. But I don't know what happened to Beau Rouge, but Toxic... Yeah, it just hit the back of B Morgan. It was just, yeah, it looked a bit clumsy to me. Is Dan going to try that on, yeah, no. Oh, off the road, Earbo's in the wall, Toxic sliding everywhere. And this is an interesting start to the, oh, Dylan has left the session. Dylan dropped down to 3rd anyway. I don't know what happened to Dylan. Robert might have got back in, but I don't think... No, he's not. Dylan has left the session. I think he disconnected. So, unless he can get back in, that might be no points for Dylan, unfortunately. Starting from pole. It has allowed B Morgan to manage to sneak his way up to 4th place. And Dan is a massive loser here. He's going to lose some... Well, not as many points because it's the sprint race, but... It's just a real shame that Dan can't get in these battles. He's always Mr. Consistent normally. He's been Mr. Consistent for a large part of this season, and yeah, today just is not very well for him. Car Mentalist actually leads the race. Has he won a race this season? Car Mentalist, he hasn't. His best result was a 3rd place in a feature race. His best result in a sprint race is no. Wait, what was his? He's a 4th place. He had 2 4th places. There's yellow flags. That's Toxic. Toxic spun on the pit straight. He hasn't gone into the pits. Don't know why. It's a bit weird that he hasn't gone to the pits for me. Dan, ahead of B Morgan. Something's happened to B Morgan. He's lost front wing. B Morgan has front wing damage. I don't know how. But Dan is now up to 5th. Sorry, I didn't want to see that. I was too busy focusing on what Toxic had done. But Dan now up to 5th. And back ahead of B Morgan. If B Morgan gets some serious front wing damage, has to pit, it might allow someone to close up to him and might knock him out of the points. Dan, 1.4 seconds behind Dylan's ghosted car. And B Morgan was actually ahead. B Morgan gets past Big W. Big W doesn't have front wing damage himself, but B Morgan definitely does have end plate damage on that Dam's car. And you can see him struggling to stay on the track at Puon. He's going to really struggle. Big W all over the back of him. Well, yeah. Dylan has been overtaken. Yellow's in sector 2. That is Toxic. Oh, Toxic's having a terrible wet race with that front wing damage. He dominated the feature in the dry and the wet. He has, yeah, it's not been great. But Dan ahead of Dylan. Can Big W get past Big B Morgan? As a neutral in this championship, no offence B Morgan, but I want to see this battle go down to the final race. and like have it a realistic chance that someone other than you could win. I want to see drama all the way. Oh, bullet boy in the wall. I don't know English. I do not know what happened. He hasn't lost front wing, but I don't have a clue what happened there at the exit of the final corner. He just slid all the way to the left. V5 are now on the back of him. He was on the back of Car Mentalist. He hasn't lost position, but he's lost time. In the wet, it's not that much of a big deal, really, but he is on for a Oh, I am actually dying midstream. He's on for a first podium in what is his 4th race, which will be a very good start. Yes, these cars are horrible in the wet, as Racing at Home informs me. Just wanted to say Racing at Home, I didn't put it in the chat, but yeah, I hope you're feeling better soon. But I think you'd only missed like 2 races, took 1 round before this, so I think you'd only missed 1 round, which is I think you'd done the most races out of everyone, I think, which is insane. But Bullet Boy's still holding off. Toxic into the pits now. B Morgan has stayed out. He's not gaining on anyone. He's not losing on anyone. He's actually, well, he's not even gaining on the ghost car unless Dylan got back in. No, Dylan hasn't even got back in. So he's slowly gaining, but not enough, really. I just want to check who's attended the most races. It's not Racing at Home. Racing at Home has missed. It is now. Well, it was Dan, but now. Yeah, now B Morgan also. Wow. Paul did every round. Paul, actually no. Ibbo has done every round. That is very true. If I find Ibbo. Yeah, he's retired from 1 race. And other than that, he's finished every race in the points. He didn't, except from the sprint race at Baku, and both races at France, he finished out the points. And then the feature race at Spain, he retired. Other than that, he's finished every single race in the points. And he's on course to do that again here in Spa. His record of point scoring is, well, it's one of the best. He's had one of the fewest, well, other than Dan. Dan has gone to every race and finished in the points. Oh, that is a big W backwards at turn 1. I just saw his rear end go at the exit of the corner. And that is, yeah, as you said, the cars are horrible in the wet because of the wheel spin. And he's found that out big time today, Big W. Still on for 7th place, but that costs him a chance at B Morgan potentially. B Morgan's still behind the car of Dylan, trying to reach 0.4 seconds behind the top 3, who are within 7 tenths of each other. And you can see there, Car Mental is struggling with grip. Bullet Boy all over the back of him. He's managed to close this gap. V5 just followed him through, kept with him, because the gap between them hasn't changed, but the gap at the top has definitely come down. B Morgan finally gets past Dylan, which means the point lost after this race will be 1 point. So overall, over the weekend, the whole thing, he has gained a total of 5 points as it stands, depending on who has fastest lap. Car Mentalist really struggling with grip, really struggling to get traction. As you can see, they're sliding everywhere. Is Bullet Boy close enough to try and get the lead of this race with 1 lap to go? This is probably his best chance. Here, it's either here or it's down to Les Combes. I think it's here though. If you can try and stay with him through Blanchimont, he might have a chance. If he can get better run through Blanchimont, which I don't think he does, but if he can stay with him, he's got to find somewhere we can actually out-traction him. I don't think he's going to be able to get him on straights. He's just got to be able to out-traction him. Oh, another back-end loss. V5 still right in this battle. This is going to go down to the wire for the race win. Bullet Boy pulls out so he can see. There's spray in his eyes, obviously. In the wet. Not very nice. As Carmentalist goes a bit wide from the apex. Bullet Boy looks down the inside. Can't really do anything. Blue flags are being waved. I think that might be for... No, I don't really see anyone. Dylan has got back past B. Morgan's car. Don't know what's happened to B. Morgan. But we'll go back to the battle for the lead. Bullet Boy all over Carmentalist. This is really important. Who's going to win the sprint race here in Belgium? Carmentalist pulling back away. Either Bullet Boy is brave on the brakes, but you can't really be. Carmentalist defends. You can see that loss of grip. Where can he get the better run? This might be it. Bullet Boy pushing him through the final bit of Le Combe chicane. Can he get a run? Oh, no, that's going to be very close. Yellow flags in sector 1. It's not B. Morgan. I don't know who it is. But Carmentalist still ahead. V5's a bit further back. Once again, a loss of traction from Carmentalist and actually going slightly defensive into Puon. Where can Bullet Boy find the grip to make a move? This might be it. This might be a good chance. Has he got the grip? No, he hasn't got the exit that he would want to send one down the inside. He hasn't got quite... I don't think he's got the confidence on the brakes that he would like. Bit of a wiggle himself. I think without a mistake, this could be the finishing order. Depends on what Bullet Boy decides to do into that final chicane. Is he going to be close enough to do what he wants to do into that final chicane? It's going to be very close, but I think he's actually further back than he was last lap. He's got good traction though. He's got very good traction. We'll go on board with the Russian time driver. The Russian time's 2 and 3 so far. I don't know if Carmentalist actually picked up a penalty. He might have. That might have been why Bullet Boy's backing off. He's not quite close enough to make a move. Carmentalist going to go defensive. Bullet Boy going to look around the outside. Carmentalist locks up. Bullet Boy is going to get squeezed out there, isn't he? Yes, he's just going to get squeezed. And I don't think he's best pleased with that one, but Carmentalist will hold on to P1. Dan is going to come through for P4. So Carmentalist, Bullet Boy and V5. I think that's just about within limits from Carmentalist, squeezing him right to the edge of the track. Yes, there might not have been enough room, but we can deliberate on that later. For now, Carmentalist wins his first race. Bullet Boy gets his first podium. So he's taken a gradual improvement every race he's raced. Finished 10th in Austria and in Hungary in the sprint race. And then his next race finished 6th. Well, yeah, 6th in the feature race here at Spa, and then took 2nd in the sprint race. Big W finishing 7th in the end after a couple of spins. Ibo will hold on, Willie, to 8th place. Toxic, the dominating winner of the feature race. Unfortunately, damage on lap 1 of a 5-lap race does not really do you any good. Toxic's going to come home in P9. Ibo, obviously, P8. And scores yet another point, does Ibo? That's sole point, but that's still, every point matters, really. So, I'll do the table. Who got fastest lap? It was Carmentalist. Unless Toxic gets it now, which I don't think he did. Let's do my maths. That's 6. That's... Oh wait, Dylan lagged out. Which means everyone behind him is going to get an extra point. Who finished 9th? Because I think Toxic, because Dylan lagged out, unfortunately for Dylan, I can't give him points. Because he didn't do 90%. That's just how the rules are. Like, I would love to give him points. Because that's like, if you disconnect, I would love to give points because it's not your fault, obviously. But I have to stick by the rules. So Toxic will get that extra point. He will actually gain 1 point on everyone. But there we have it. Carmentalist takes the win in the feature race. If I can find his name, that would be very helpful. And actually, a grand total of 12 points for him. Maximum points from the feature sprint race. Sorry, Bullet Boy takes 2nd place. Another 8 points for him. V5 takes 6 points for the 3rd. Dan 5 for the 4th. B Morgan in 5th. Dylan obviously lagged out, so we'll count Big W as 6th place, which gets him 3 points. Ibo as 7th, and Toxic as 8th. But there we have it for Belgium. Championship. The gap is, I want to say, that is, my maths is not great at all. 58 points. The gap has extended by 5. We'll see how it goes at Monza. Monza can bring up anything. See you guys next week.